Okay, welcome to Wrestle Talk, everyone. Today, this is Comedy King Carl, and today we'll be talking about my top 10 wrestling controversial opinions, specifically about WWE. Okay, so this is in no particular order, it's just my top 10 controversial opinions. So let's begin. Number 1 would be that The Fiend character died not because of Goldberg squashing him, but because the Hell in the Cell match with Seth Rollins. Hear me out. People say that Goldberg shouldn't have beat The Fiend. He shouldn't have, but people will blame Goldberg for the reason why The Fiend's character kind of died out, when it actually happened before that, when he faced Seth Rollins inside Hell in the Cell, and it ended in disqualification, so he wouldn't win the title right away. That destroyed all credibility The Fiend had. So when people just wanted a reason to hate Goldberg, and people love Seth Rollins, so they don't want to put the blame on him, in my opinion. This might be really controversial to some people, but The Fiend's character died the day the Hell in the Cell match happened in 2019. The next one, number 2, is that Cody Rhodes shouldn't have finished his story this year. Hear me out. It was one of the greatest moments, in my opinion. I was really happy about it, but yet again, it just feels like Cody Rhodes should have finished his story right away. He should have had the World Heavyweight Championship against Seth Rollins. Granted, we've seen that match, but I would have rather seen Seth Rollins main event WrestleMania on a 1-on-1 match instead of in a tag team match. Because Seth Rollins and CM Punk deserve to main event a WrestleMania, in my opinion. But not just that. Roman Reigns versus The Rock would have been a much better match. And I feel like if they allowed Cody to win a third time, lose the World Heavyweight Championship, then go for the championship again, he would have been tied with Austin for the most Royal Rumble wins. And then you could have eventually he beat Roman Reigns, he lost it right back, and then he challenges for it again. They left a cool moment where Cody could have beat Stone Cold Steve Austin's record in the process of finishing his story, but I also think that the match was good, but it could have been more into the extreme side, so ultimately what we got was not worth the only reason why I remember it so much is because I almost cried during the match. After the match. Cried after. Number 3. The Undertaker's Boneyard match with AJ Styles should have not been The Undertaker's last match. That match was kinda bad. I know that's a controversial opinion, but it wasn't wrestling. It was just spooky stuff happening for the sake of spooky stuff happening, when they could have just had a Buried Alive match, which was the same thing without all the goofiness. I feel like that being the last match of The Undertaker's career kind of makes The Undertaker look a little bit weak. I feel like Undertaker's last match should have been either against John Cena or... I feel like AJ Styles was a good opponent, but if they had a singles match, it would have been better, like the likes of Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker, but the Boneyard match was kinda bad. Number 4, the Firefly Funhouse match. Now that one wasn't even a match. It was, it was, it was terrible. I don't understand why people like it. It's awful. It wasn't even a match. I don't know who won, who lost. It was just random stuff happening. People liked it because it brought up the past. But if half of the stuff, if this wasn't with John Cena, no one would have liked it. Like, Bray Wyatt is a good performer, but this match absolutely stinked. Because it wasn't a match, it was just random stuff happening for the purpose of random stuff happening. Number 5. Number 5 is the fact that Extreme Rules, Hell in a Cell, TLC, and were very cool pay-per-views, and they deserve to have the second chance to be alive because they have no pay-per-views in December. And I feel like Extreme Rules was very fun to watch because you had when Triple H run it, there was actually some Extreme Rules to it, and I feel like TLC with Triple H would have been real cool. We know Hell in a Cell probably would have been real cool. There would probably have been 3 Cell matches. I feel number 6. This is controversial to some people, but by far the worst women's wrestler currently who is champion is Liv Morgan. I think she could have been better if she had more time on NXT. That's the problem with the whole women's division. They get called up straight away because of lack of actual wrestling women talent on the main roster. Instead of getting time to develop their character, time to perfect their in-ring work, they get called straight up. And that's what Liv Morgan could have benefited from, because she got called up straight up from the main roster almost instantly. If she had more time to work on her craft, she would have definitely been a better wrestler for it. In my opinion. Number 7. Roman Reigns was always to WWE in 2000. Goldberg returning every once in a while wasn't as bad as people thought it was. I feel like Goldberg returning every once in a while was okay, as long as he didn't win the title. Him returning every once in a while is okay. Was okay. It wasn't the best, but it gave WWE money. So, understandably, you have to agree with me that, well, Goldberg served a purpose to get more eyes on wrestling for, the older fans and stuff. Goldberg served his purpose when he returned. It's not like he was straight up useless. Number 8. The hardest pay-per-view to watch all the way through is the Royal Rumble, because they have like 2 Royal Rumbles now. When it was just the men's Royal Rumble, it was easier to get through, because the Royal Rumble at most takes an hour, and with 2 matches that take an hour, that's already 2 hours there, plus the other matches, your eyes get really tired. The Royal Rumble being a 2-night event would benefit the Royal Rumble significantly, so you could have the women's one night, the men's the other. It would benefit from it. It really would benefit for being a 2-night event. Number 9. WrestleMania, the Big 4, Survivor Series. Excluding Survivor Series, SummerSlam, Royal Rumble, and WrestleMania should all be 2-night events. That is just my opinion. It would make it more digestible for someone who doesn't want to watch like a 9-hour wrestling match. In addition to all that, it makes it easier to watch, and then you get more matches per show. I know people hate it, but honestly, the format should have stayed the same. Number 10. I feel like this is definitely going to have some current Monday Night Raw, even though Triple H is running it, is kind of boring because they do a lot more talking than actual wrestling with 3 hours. It's like all they do is just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. It's hard to watch through, especially late at night, because I want to go to bed. I don't want to watch 2 hours plus talking. Just because I just don't want to watch 3 hours of talking. And then, like, maybe like an hour of talking, an hour, 2 hours of wrestling. I want to see a lot more wrestling in those hours. I want to see at least, like, maybe like a couple of minutes of talking. Like at least an hour of talking or so. A lot of it is just talking, backstage segments. I came here to see wrestling. I didn't hear Drew McIntyre and CM Punk talk. But those two are interesting talkers, so I'll let it slide. But Monday Night Raw could be really boring compared to SmackDown, where SmackDown talks too much for the only hour that they're really on TV, because it's Monday Night Raw is only 3 hours with commercials. If you watch it on cable television, Monday Night Raw is technically 2 hours, and SmackDown is technically 1 hour and 30 minutes, but still, they're not as long as they seem. They just seem long because of all the talking. And SmackDown could be very interesting if it was longer, but all the talking they do is too much for an hour of television, really. It's both. All the talking could be cut down to a minimum, and that's my opinion. This is Comedy King Carl. Goodbye!